Assalamu alaikum. Now, so the dupatta is finished. I've edged it off in all the sequins fabric, and let me tell you that laces are very, very expensive. And if you can get something like this on the yard, it'll work out a lot cheaper, and you can get a brilliant result. The dupatta just looks like the sequins have been embroidered on, and it'll look the same even on the dress. So what I'm hoping to do is do the dress with the neckline and the border on the daman with the similar type of lace, and it's going to look like a absolutely beautiful suit once it's finished. It's going to look $1,000,000. And what I would suggest is buy a yard of the Wonder Web, and use it with the, if you can get this fabric. I mean, I would suggest it's going to have multiple uses. I got 2.5 yards. I got the guy to tear me off 2.5 yards of this. Now I've used 3 strips, and it's probably going to use one more, maybe perhaps 2 strips more on the whole of the dress. And in total you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 24 strips of this. And if you multiply that 2.5 yards by 24 strips, then you've got a hell of a lot of yardage of like a lace type, and it's going to be wonderful, because what I'm going to do is I am going to do a white plain anarkali with the flowers trimmed off in all the places that I want to, because on its own it's just too much. And if you were to make a dress out of this in full, then it's just going to be overwhelming. So that's initially when he showed me this and he said to me, make me a sample of this, I was a little bit hesitant and I wasn't too keen on it, because it just seemed overwhelming. And I thought, what can I make out of this? My initial thoughts were that I was going to cut into it and I was going to add plain net in between the panels, and that way it will sort of give it like a really wide gear insert anarkali. But then it still seemed a little bit too much. And also they can, anywhere where there's joints and stuff, the sequins can become irritating. Also, it is extremely heavy, because this sequins flowers are cut out of like a plasticky thing, and it can become, I mean, like this 2.5 yards, it weighs so much, and you don't want to be, last thing you want to be doing is carrying so much weight. If you can cut into it, and if you can do lace type patterns, then that is wonderful. If the shopkeeper is willing to sell you, if you don't want to buy too much in length, and if the shopkeeper is willing to sell perhaps in 5 or 4 stripes, that would even work wonders. That's a suggestion that I will put to them, that cut them in 2.5 yard lengths, but try it out in just 2.5 yard lengths, cut it across, and try and sell it with a yard of interfacing, and see Wonder Web and see what people come up with. So if you're in Nelson, do go down to the bazaar. It's the stall right in front of the door, and they'll probably have this displayed probably in a week or so, when I get around to doing the dress to go with this suit. So I don't know, I've yet to sort of experiment and decide on exactly what dresses to make with this. Ideally I would like to make a couple of dresses, so let's see what we actually come up with. I'm going to play around with some ideas. Anyway, I hope to see you again. I hope this tutorial, this inspirational video, does inspire you to go on and create something like this. And I will try and get the gold as well, and perhaps do something in that as well, so that you're really motivated and inspired to continue to experiment and to do wonderful things with some of these fabrics that you can get at bargain prices.